to the fan. Boom! Live and in color. Was there any option for being black and white? I think I'd look good in black and white. I am Mr. Brad Chester. Above me we have...
I'm me, Kyle Treya. Hello.
And Brian Horton. How's it going, folks? Nice to see you. Been gone for a few weeks because I blew my knee out, but I am back and ready to go.
What happens when you enter full contact karate tournaments?
I mean, if it was just that exciting that it was a full karate contact tournament, not just, hey, look, a stare.
Yeah, most of my things when I've heard are just lame too. You're like, what happened? You're like, well, you know those stairs. I actually fell in the shower over the weekend. That was impressive. So
You're
like,
93.
it is. It's like I just want to make up a story about why I've got bruises on me. I'm like, then these 6 dudes came out and I karate kicked all the ninjas. You're like, what actually happened? My brain broke and I fall down a lot. Did you at least win the fight against Zoobs?
Unfortunately, at this point in time, with the condition I'm in, I'm pretty sure Zoobs would just push me with one finger and I'd crumble like a sack of potatoes. You'd be like, and on the floor. All right, good enough.
What happened to your knee for the public? KR wants to know.
All right, so I have a neurological muscle disorder combined with degenerative joint disease. I was at a friend's house. I honestly took one step on his stairs. My knee decided to disjoint completely. My kneecap went to the side of my knee, made it really hard to walk for a few days. And well, when you take a lot of prescribed medications, you can't talk to human beings, especially over the internet.
You know what you shouldn't have done? Had the knee cap go sideways. I'm almost positive that's
I'm
not
sure,
right.
I'm pretty sure that with the bone spurs that it left behind from doing that was not good fun.
Kyle, are you doing something that's revolving around 40K? Or are you just staring down doing your taxes?
I'm doing my taxes. I'm building Chaos Space Marines so that I can play them at 1 RTT before they get nuked. And I'm planning on destroying this RTT.
Kaboom! Take that, new players. I'll show you.
All right, all I can say is that this weekend at our RTT, Deathwatch won the
Hells yeah.
won the RTT. So just for those people who are saying they're dead and buried, hey, guess what? Repulsor executioners are still good in every army.
Congrats to Jaguar for winning that RTT, apparently.
That is, yeah. Carmona won a GT this weekend. Well done.
He's Carmona.
He's all chaos all the time.
Carmona, tell me what to do.
Be awesome.
Please.
I don't know. He's got a different style than you do. And that is where I want to lead off with things. When you're making all these new lists with the new books, everyone, make sure you're making a list that's your list. I cannot tell you how often I see someone grab random internet list that's really good that someone won a GT, won a major with, won whatever with, and they just do poorly with it because it's not how they play. You know what I mean? Don't take a super non-interactive board control list if you want to get into combat all the time. You know, if you're all shooting, don't take the punchy list.
Chris, you have to, as we always say, you have to play your style and what fits your personality. If you are a swarm the board and board control person, kind of like Brad is, don't take 5, big nights and go, yeah, I'm going to do great.
Exactly. I'll probably come with a $2 super chat for the Brad Injury Fund. Go Blue! Also, Go Moo! Speaking of Go Moo and different teams, ATC just went Kobe and shot their shot because today at 4:17 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, JD posted up from Away Games, yo, we're basically bring it all. They did the, what are you going to be using? Everything! We've got a June 23rd cutoff for things in, which means we're going to get in some serious stuff. So what's being released now, Brian?
So we have, outside of just the normal models that are coming with it in the battle forces, you have the new mission pack, Pariah. So the Pariah Nexus, along with, get this, GW releasing objective markers, coming out along with the GSC Codex and the absolutely lovely Adeptus Sororitas, aka Sisters of Battle Codex. Hot on the heels of the Chaos Space Marine Codex. So we are getting a whole lot of 40K real quick. And considering the timing of that date that they used, you never know. There could be a data slate dropping in there at the same time.
Hey, we might get a data slate. We're going to get a Sisters Codex. We're getting new missions, which is the biggest thing. Missions are wildly, by far, the most important thing because they change everything for everyone. You know, a very strong Codex, that's a thing, doesn't hold a candle to new missions and new secondaries. That's huge. It is all of the things, some of the stuff.
The new missions is by far the biggest. I mean, yes, new Codex is going to change the meta. Nothing changes the meta more than going, hey, guess what? Battle Liner, kind of important now. And that's what Pariah Nexus from their preview article seems to do is, hey, guess what? Some of the stuff you can achieve better when you have more battle line.
We're going to see how much that's important. You know what I mean? Because they said different things before, and in the end, you're like, hey, I'll just take this with 100 guys. And I'll kill everybody on the objective, battle line or not. But it looks like there's a couple of the secondaries and things, the actions that you can perform, and that are battle line specific ones.
Yep. And the nice part about that is like some battle line are starting to make comebacks into the meta. Particularly like orcs, orc boys, Green Tide, 100%. That's going to be a benefit to them. Chaos Space Marines have seen some of their stuff become more important in that aspect. Blood Angels using, just regular assault intercessors coming out of rhinos. There's a lot of interesting things popping up in the meta with battle line. So it'll be interesting to see where it falls.
There's way too much positivity, so I'm going to go to the opposite side and say, you know what? I don't like it.
Or you're going to join Brandon? Still Frosty Gaming coming in with all the salt as usual. He goes, not Space Marine battle line. Screw you. You guys could be like the old dudes in the Muppets looking out over the balcony, just yelling insults at everybody. So I think it's going to be pretty wild. For people going to ATC, I'm actually curious, everybody in chat, anybody going, what are your guys' thoughts on this? Because it is going to make it pretty bonkersville, because you're going to have to write new lists and get new army composition or new team composition because you're going to have different armies in your team going into ATC. What's everybody's thoughts on that? You know what? I'll start a poll about that. You guys talk about that for a minute. I'll pull it up.
And my big thing is armies that you were already going to see, you're definitely seeing. You're still going to see one of the two variants of orcs. You're going to see sisters. You're definitely seeing Chaos Space Marines, I think, on every army. I think those three are just auto ins. You're always going to see Space Marines. Now the unit choices may change a hair. I think it's a very good change for ATC because embrace the new. They do so much getting this product out early, getting reviews out from, some of the review sites that get stuff. You get it a week ahead of time. You're kind of prepared a little bit for it before it even hit the stands. When it hit the stands, you're going to have another week to get there, so you should be fine.
I'm all for it. Kyle, we just said he was saying before we even went live that he was not a big fan of all the changes, but I really like it. I like having all of the new shit. You know what I mean? I don't want to play an old meta. I don't want to play with old stuff. I also have the attention span of a gnat. So as soon as there's something new, I want to be using it on the table. So I like to use everything. I think it also makes a crazy landscape for people. Now, the only thing that I know it's tough for a lot of people is the hobby part. You know what I mean? The hobby portion of this, it is hard to make an immediate jump to something else. A lot of times you're not playing your optimum. As someone that is fully willing to beg, borrow, and steal an army from anybody, it works out really well for me. So I'll just figure out exactly what I want to take and then scurry around like a raccoon in the garbage for an army. So
yeah, I mean, that's
Right.
one of the things about with teams. You normally have several faction specialists on your team, especially when you're talking 8-man. And usually, not always, but usually faction specialists have quite an extensive depth of collection. So this will be a good thing for that. It might be tough for for Matt Aaron, who's a heavy converter, heavy painter, to pivot, on a dime is going to be a little bit hard. But in many instances, it's going to be fairly easy.
I'm always going to be resistant to like sudden change. That's just who I am. But a couple of the big things are the people who have been just putting in the time and the effort building up to this to have it swapped like 3 weeks out is going to suck. And then the hobby element is going to be the most difficult thing to overcome, or just the model element is like, where are you going to get these things if suddenly your list changes drastically because you have to prioritize scoring in a different way, right?
True story.
I think some people are going to be kind of stuck when they realize that their armies have one option for battle line and they haven't been playing them.
I mean, I got confused for just a second. I'll go back on that for a moment, except for the fact that Zoobs just said that Saturday night at Salt City we were having a drink competition. Bring the best mixed drinks to win prizes. Is there a prize for just drinking the most mixed drinks? Because I'd like to enter that contest.
I will gladly make a prize for that.
Matto coming in with a $5 super chat. I'd like to pour one out for the Kings of Trash, Sisters Crusaders. Rest in power, my friends. I will miss the Crusaders hot much. I'm looking forward. Did you see the new model that they put out with Demon Breaker, the Sackerson model?
With the book. Yeah,
Holy shit, that thing looks like
the power armor that is painted white. I'll say that in a phrase that won't get me in trouble. Is
continue on.
Just on that model.
Get hate in your heart, let it out.
These for that, yeah, but it looks amazing.
That
was a tough one to say.
But that model's badass. You know what? I'm gonna put this one on the screen because it deserves it. Give me a second.
It's really cool.
I was looking through, what's gonna be legal, what's coming out, and that thing just looks badass.
Low-key, I hope the
I'm
Sisters
so happy
Codex
to
is
come out with this.
Oh, that's hurtful talk. Why you gotta be like that, yo?
I hate them. I hate them a lot. I have to be
Sisters?
both Crawley and Brandon for this stream, so boo Outriders.
Look at this model, dude. This thing is freaking dope. Dope, dog. But I think that let's make a prediction on this. Because
they're gonna be busted.
Well, we got a couple things to make predictions about because we're gonna have a data slate also. You know what I mean? So we got to talk about that. But there's so many things for me to have no actual direction on. I will go everywhere today. I cannot be stopped.
So I think Sisters are going to have one or two really nasty things coming out of their book because they're really good right now. And if they didn't change a whole lot from their index, they're still going to be super powerful, especially in the right player's hands. I think GSCs, they're probably going to change the play style of them a little bit and take them back to their melee focus, is my guess. Away from the drop-in, shooting turn of doom.
Well, I'd love to see Bloody Rose really gain some prominence again. I really like that detachment. I just love the idea of just like these bloodthirsty psychos coming at you that are sisters.
You got to assume there's going to be one for that. There'll probably be one built around, the servants of the sisters. So the Arcos, the Penitent Engines, and all of that as a focus.
Like, you know what, Brandon? Don't you put that evil on me. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm giving him that right now. Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Ooh, that's hurtful. It's like they're gonna get the Tau treatment. They're gonna look amazing until you get points, and then you can get exactly almost what you want in an army.
I'm gonna go the opposite of Brandon and say that they're going to be cracked on release.
You think they're going to be just wild busted?
Yeah.
So, what do you think is going to be bigger? Because we're going to get GSC. We possibly could get GSC by this time also. I mean, depending on
they're both coming at the same time.
Yeah.
They're coming the same weekend.
Oh, they are 100%. I thought they were coming one after the other.
No, the same weekend. Same weekend.
So, what's going to be the most powerful army that just came out? We'll put Chaos in here too. CSM, Sisters, GSC. What's going to be the strongest army at ATC? The American Team Championships.
Sisters, followed by Chaos Space Marines, followed by GSC out of those three.
Yeah, that order, mostly because the scoring, if Sisters stay relatively the same and they gain some power, but they can score the same way, and they have the ability to score with battle line units more, they're going to be a force.
I'm going to go with Sisters also on this because I think that it also depends on exactly what the missions end up being. But if the missions are scoring units, Sisters have always had ways to make their girls do some stuff with their Miracle Dice and everything else. And they have so many small units. I do think that Sisters overall will be more powerful in my just wild prediction, because I've seen absolutely shit. I know nothing about nothing. But I think that Sisters will be the top out of those three. But I think that CSM will devastate Sisters because Warp Talons eat Sisters for breakfast. Because all of their small units, which are such problems for other armies to deal with, Warp Talons just go, get in the van, and drive away. So, because that unit itself can destroy MSU armies. I mean, it's
so is the Chaos Space Marine Army playing 10 a unit of 10 and 2 units of 5?
I've seen a lot of that. Like, for instance, let me go over Carmona's list real quick. Screw it. So Carmona sent me his list he played this weekend. He had 2 Chaos Lords, 2 units of Legionnaires, 2 Rhinos, 2 units of Accursed Cultists, 2 Predators, 2 Forge Fiends, a Hellbrute, 2 Venom Crawlers, and then a 10 and a 5. Man, unit of Warp Talons. I prefer to either 10-5-5. We've been doing made lists with 10-10-5 actually. But I think you have to have at least one. When I'm making the armies, it always has at least a 10 and a 5 of Warp Talons, because sometimes you're going to send out the 5 to pick up like small nonsense. Other times you need the 10 man to make sure that the full 5 man, like 5 Marine bodies dies, especially if they have a fatal pain or something like that. So you need the 10 man to make sure you can kill him and pop into the air.
So what's the detachment? Is he running veterans?
Say it one more time.
What's the detachment? Is he running veterans of the Long War?
He's running Pact Bound Zealots. Multiple people have said this. Brian just said this. Our team, the World Leader Brian, said that he loves Pact also. So it's one of those. I've had a couple different people tell me that we can't sleep on Pact.
Yep. I think that Chaos Space Marine book is deep. It has a lot of builds.
100%. I think that the detachments are really good. So like you can do some real stuff with them, and they have a lot of strong strats. You know what I mean? You read through them and you're just like, that seems crazy.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that.
It's a big deal in that. Battle for the Capitals from the new rules? All right.
I'm building Raiders just because that seems like my kind of play style.
True. Also, there's another. I think you're safe with Raiders because of the fact that they have the strats that are not situationally dependent. They're just strong. You know what I mean? There's other factions I think that have powerful strats, but they're very get yourself into the position to use them strats. The Raiders are just like you're like just I can use anything in there all the time. GSCs, I don't know if they're going to be broken or not. I do think that GSC has always been an army that it's kind of like Thousand Suns, where if you play somebody and they're really good with it, you have either excellent generals or people that are bad with it, just inexperienced, because it's just a difficult army to play. It has a lot of moving parts, and it's also got people that died to a stern look, you know. But man, that army can put out volume of shots. It can steal objectives from you. It can move block you into another dimension. Whew. It's crazy. So it's one of those things where, are you an expert at this? Then it's going to be a rough day. I mean, but on paper, like look at GSC units. All their units like look like nothing, you know what I mean? But it's the combo of everything together. True story,
And
Matt.
they're a massive ton of characters for their current build to play them, and smart players either get trapped by assassinate or know how to get the assassinate out of that.
I'm not even giving that on. So, excellent analogy though. But Matt goes, GSC seem like either the top 50 ITCs are playing them or no one is. Yeah. It's an army that also a lot of people pick up. The people that are very good at GSC a lot of times look for that opportunity in the meta to strike with them when people haven't been playing them, and they're a very good army to counter infantry also. Just because of volume.
And as we're in a pretty mixed meta right now, where you see hordes of infantry, some elite infantry armies, and then that's a lot of vehicles backed up with some infantry. It's becoming more and more interesting of a meta. There's definitively a shift.
And I like where it's going, but also I love infantry. Like that's what I play, you know what I mean? So that's my style. So I always bring infantry heavy armies almost exclusively, to be honest with you. I played a couple
even during the heyday of the craziness of Eldar early in the edition, you were still playing a lot of infantry.
I enjoy playing them more, and that's the thing. We were laughing about it over last weekend we were at Brandon's house for Rocky Top, and everybody was there, and somebody asked how I'm able to bounce faction to faction, and I can't remember who made the joke, and I had to agree with them. I go, I just make the same army in a different faction. I find an MSU style. I can take the board. I look for whatever trash I can put on the board, and I need the most mobile shit I can find. So I have a certain style of play that I enjoy playing. It also makes me happy to play it. You know what I mean? That's the whole thing. Again, we're still playing with toys. Not only is it effective, but also you want something that you like playing on the board. Man, there's a ton of different armies that I've put on the board and been like, this is a super strong army, and I never want to play this again because it just doesn't feel fun. So, all of it.
So we have no actual Meta Monday information today, right?
Correct.
Yep. Correct. He did not post an article yet today.
Nope. But we know it. We saw some team stuff. I looked at a couple of the actual regulars tournaments and whatnot. We had DreamHack, but I feel that the DreamHack was a lot of people putting stuff up that they aren't going to take to either ATC or WTC. So it was like weird to get that information because you're like, hey, this did well, but also I don't think this isn't really what you're bringing. Oh, Lyle coming in with the $2 super chat. What style is putting people in the dirt, which is Lyle's style? He wants to just flatline everyone. That's tough on that. I mean, I think the closest thing to that is CSM, to be honest with you. CSM has, just what we were talking about Carmona bringing the Noah's Ark of that. Those guys have a huge upside. They have a volume of shots, they have power, they have good strats, and they can end the game fairly quickly. So, and they can do it from melee or shooting, which is really a really big strength for Chaos, is that they can operate in different avenues. You know what I mean? The melee and shooting, and they also have short range shooting and long range shooting. So it's a big deal to be able to operate in different windows. You know what I mean? So if you get close to them, they're going to punch you. If you stay away, they're going to shoot you from downtown. So, and they have a lot of stuff that's just really, they're priced for a lot of things, like Venom Crawlers for $110, the Talons for $110 for $5, all those things are just like really economically pointed. They're just efficient, and that's a big thing.
So something I want to point out about the Venom Crawlers is that there is a discrepancy from the book to the app, which made me really sad. The wording in the codex says that the Venom Crawler adds an attack to its characteristics after it kills a unit in the fight phase only, and the app says it does it if it kills a unit in any phase.
Yep.
So they were crazy good when I was shooting stuff down and adding attacks to them, now only killing things in the fight phase makes it not as interesting, especially just for raiders.
I mean, it is nice to kill something with your 12 shots, you know.
Then get 14.
It's a big deal. I think it's a good unit, though. You know what I mean? One of the things that Carmona didn't put in, and I think have been really nice, he put the Predators in. I think Havocs are a good cost for last cannons, man. The T5 makes a difference. Those guys are good. I mean, I don't know. Chaos seems like something that you can flatline people with. So the answer Lyle's original question, I think Chaos can put the beats on people.
And I think he's good with Blood Angels doing that. I think Blood Angels have the capability right now to just flatten people and put them into the ground.
Oh my god! If you have 4 CP, then army is just disgusting. If you have to do melee.
Yeah.
I'm a believer in Wolf Jail. I don't think it's going to win everything, but man, I really have a newfound respect for that army. After seeing it played and talking through it and stuff, man, that thing can just put out. The only problem is it lives 4-up life. You know what I mean? So you're gonna have those games where you feel indestructible. You're gonna have other games where it just seems like you failed everything. You know, 3-up, 4-up is just tough.
And it just auto loses to 3 Nurglings.
Also, yeah. So being -2 to hit with your guys is brutal. Also, I guess you could reroll everything and just go for lethal hits, though. That's a thing. What? God damn it. Brandon's always trying to push the Waffle House on me. The place is a trash fire, and it always has me.
No, it serves its purpose. It's good at specific times.
Are they even open at regular times? Because I've never been there if it wasn't after a closing time at a bar.
If you're eating Waffle House at like 7 p.m. on a weekday, you're probably a psycho.
I'm gonna quote that. Somebody clip that one. I need that forever.
Wow, that was fantastic. I mean, is Thousand Suns the sneaky the best singles list right now?
Yeah. The thing is Thousand Suns is occasionally just unfair. You know what I mean? It takes a lot to play them though, because the wheels can just fall off. You know, because things once you start losing cabal points, shit can just go off the rails. You know what I mean? You do have to watch for people trying to bully you.
Right, but for the most part, it is an entire. I mean, like, I've been looking at some of the lists because I have a friend who's trying to get into them. And it just seems like it's really, with the exception of Magnus, an entire infantry.
Yeah, and the thing is it has just broken things that they can do. You know what I mean? So it's tough to run that army, and it's tough to play against that army because you have to plan for a lot of things that just are outside of what you're used to, because they have lots of out of phase things. You know what I mean? They're moving in the shooting phase. They're doing damage to people that normally couldn't be damaged because they ignore lone op with things like Doombolt. You know what I mean? So they can do a lot of cheeky bullshit, and they're just super good at certain missions. Like Thousand Suns and Purge of the Foe are just oppressive. It feels terrible playing that. Exactly. Better have an invul. You know, the first time anybody finds out what Twist of Fate does is pretty big. All of a sudden you're like, I don't get an armor save? Oh no, I'm standing on an objective. You've got flamers that are +1 to wound with full rerolls. Well, this is probably not going to work out super great for me.
You would think that they're frail because it's just a bunch of infantry on the table, but they're deceptively tough, and they do everything all the time. It just doesn't feel like they're playing the game at all. They're playing a different game.
Yeah. I mean, you can put them in a box. When I was playing that, last week at Rocky Top, after I decided just to forget half the game, you can jam them back and just win on points. You know what I mean? The army's pretty nasty. And to be honest, half the time you just go, hey, look, it's Magnus, and you ignore him and you move on with your life, because why? As he's rerolling 2 -1 damage, blanking 1, so there's a lot of things that army can do. But again, it takes a really good pilot, because they have a shit ton of decisions to make. That diagram of what they can do is pretty crazy. You know what I mean? It's just like, I need this points to do this and this and this. Double move, double doom bolt. There's so many things that they have to keep track of. So it's a very difficult army. But I do think that it has some just auto wins, man. Like against certain armies, especially the one wound armies, taking that many mortal wounds is just too much for a lot of those armies. They just pick up too much shit. You take a double doom bolt and you just have one wound units, you know what I mean? You just go, well, that kind of sucked. I guess I'll just pick up all of these girls or guys or whatever. So, yes. So I think that army's super, super strong. I want to see the matchup. That's one of the matchups I actually want to test is I want to see Chaos Space Marines versus Thousand Suns. Because
it'll be interesting to see.
it's just, does Chaos Space Marines have just enough damage to kind of just kill everything that shows up? And you also have the Talons, which can pick up pretty reliably. You put that 10-man into the 2 spawn, and they'll just pick up the spawn and then just bounce into the air. So they can't draw you out as easily as a lot of other armors can.
I mean, in this weekend, Sam Pope with Tyranids did win another GT. He won the Spring Assault at Ironweld. He changed his list up a little bit though.
Yeah, he was still bringing almost Horde though. He still brought 3 Exocrines and 80 Termagants. He just brought an invasion fleet because he
brought he did bring invasion fleet, but he only brought 60 Termagants this time.
I thought he brought 80. I thought he had 4 squads.
No, it was 3.
Gotcha. So it's a different style of list, but still strong. KR Orcs. I think Orcs are really, really good too. And they do have a decent game into Thousand Suns. I think you have to play it. I mean, I snatched defeat from the jaws of victory in that game as I was up by 40 and just went, I'm going to go. I definitely did not listen to Robert Downey Jr. and just forgot to do a whole bunch of stuff. But as I messaged Kyle, how went? I'm like, I'm embarrassed for my play. He's like, you lost by 2. Yep. And I'm embarrassed about how I did it.
Well, I'm gonna tell the other part of the story, even if it like gives you flashbacks.
Oh, that's too soon.
Nope. At one point, someone asked Joe on the stream, he's like, hey, check on Brad's game for us. He's like, gotcha. He comes by and he's like, yeah, it's like 55-20. Brad's in the lead. And everyone was like, oh, oof, rough. And then he texts me, he's like, lost 79-77. That's not real.
He did put up 50 points in the last 2 turns, so it was like fucking almost 50. So yeah, it wasn't my favorite. So you should bring in all your models. Here's my keys to victory. Don't ignore your feel no pains. Remember to bring in all your models, and then don't ignore a full transport full of guys in your backfield and just not move it. I was like, Brad, watch me play 2.5 turns of 40k because I played excellent 40k for 2.5 turns, and then I apparently just wandered off into the wilderness and just got killed. Bully Boys, I don't even think Bully Boys need a leash. As far as Bully Boys, people that have trash are able to play against Bully Boys because what you do here. I'll give my speech for Bully Boys. Bully Boys, very, very strong army, 100%. Move block shit. Move block the Mega Knobs and kill the rest of the stuff. Basically, when they call the wog, kill Knobs, kill Storm Boys, kill Gretchen, kill Transports, and basically hold hands in front of Mega Knobs and tell them to stay there. Whoa. Hold steady. Hold. It's always good.
I didn't see Orcs winning any. Like I was looking through all the lists of the winning lists. I didn't see Orcs win any GTs. I saw them go X and 1 or X and O in a couple of them.
A decent amount of Orcs. Yeah, a decent amount of Orcs are X and 1, and their only losses is to other Orcs. So a lot of them did kick each other out.
Have Crawley crash the call. Get him in here so we can yell at him.
He can yell, but then I have to resize everything, and I'm going to be sad. But continue. Just jump in here. I'll put you on the fire. Feel free to explode my sizing of all the windows.
I don't want to disparage Noah. He played excellent at Rocky Top.
Oh no! Not only did Crowley go, but he murdered Brian.
Brian's knees are already blown off his body. He doesn't.
Yeah, it's an inevitability, I guess.
Hold
Probably
on,
gonna be the one
I'll
to
get
do
you
it.
back in. Oh no, we're screwed that. We're gonna get a new Skype. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
So, Crawley, how did you enjoy all of the experience you've been having? Or Crawley could not talk and just,
Carly's muted.
We got him in here for absolutely nothing.
pretty much. Yeah, it sounds like that. would-
Can you hear me now?
Now we can hear
You
it.
know what? I'm gonna ignore you now that you didn't have anything ready to go. You know what we're gonna do?
Tiger Sharks are the new meta. Like, do you not see?
We're-
I got Auspex Tactics said that literally Tiger Sharks are the default
All I'm
talent.
saying is we're cooking Brian now, and that makes me happy.
I was also on the Auspex Tactics video, but you didn't hear me pulling my own crank to that.
Yes, but you weren't playing Tiger Sharks.
Ooh, did you get warm in here all of a sudden, by the way?
Wait a second. Yeah, dude. We're 35 minutes in. Like and subscribe, please. It helps the algorithm, helps us get out there. Hit the Patreon, hit the like and subscribe. Also, leave a comment. Comment actually puts us up there like hardcore. If you chat in the comments, it helps a lot to get us out there. Ended the
Man,
poll.
Steve already slapping me down.
That Auspex Tactics guy, like, he's just got to be sitting on 50 videos ready to go, right?
I know, right? Like, literally, this man releases a video within like 10 minutes of stuff going out. I don't know how he does it.
It's wild. Like, we will get something released on Reddit, or someone will like leak something in a Facebook chat, and his video goes up 11 minutes later.
Okay, hold on. KR, I saw your comment the other day because I watch the videos when we go back. The rules for flyers specifically state that your minimum move is 20 inches, and fly being the worst rule in all of 40K and 10th edition. If I have to fly over a building, I consume that movement to fly over the building. Otherwise, storm ravens wouldn't have to consume movement when flying over buildings. So is that a clever use of game mechanics? Sure. Was I playing two ridiculously large models because I wanted to go 3 and 4 and ended up going 6 and 1? Yes. Also yes.
Did you use some sort of Jedi mind tricks to make it so you could deploy them?
I
love
used math.
I love the
guess.
fact that we were sitting here, and I'm like, Carly's like, you hate the tiger shark. I'm bringing it just to spite you. And I go, I don't hate the tiger shark. I hate that the tiger shark has to show up on turn 2 and go, "What's up, guys? I'll see you next turn." Just
I have
stand there for a
confirmed.
turn.
Granted, the rules for ATC have already changed 3 times this week, but Tiger Sharks
What?
stand to be deployed at the corners at ATC, at least as of 6:39 p.m. Central Standard Time on June 3rd.
Jesus. Team
I want
Tiger
to derail
Shark.
us for just a minute. I want to tell a story from yesterday. Yesterday, Crawley asked me, or 2 days ago, Crawley asked me to test on TTS into Dark Eldar with Death Guard, and I'm really excited. So we get into the game. I pull up some Death Guard units. I'm like, yeah, we're talking about stuff. And then I look over across the table. I zoom in to a fucking Tantalus, and I'm instantly mad, and I don't want to play the game at all.
And avoid Raven Bomber.
Yeah.
Do not forget the flyer.
And we got to like turn 2, and I was like, this game's over. Like, let's just talk it out. I'm winning. I'm crushing you. And he's like, no, I still got units in the Tantalus. I'm like, it's not real, and I'm not looking at it.
I don't care that it has 18 dudes in it. It does not count.
I don't give a shit about that. It's not a real thing.
As Captain Jack Sparrow pops out.
Hey, he tried to shoot it with freaking his war dog, and it didn't die. I made the 4-up saves like a boss.
She did.
You can't kill a Tantalus. It's against the rules.
It's so dumb. And, Tantaluses are fine now. They were my least favorite 18 wound model in the game. You're like, what are you? I'm not very tough. I'm just enough to had the old rules where if you had 18 wounds, obscuring didn't count for you. And it's literally a 12-inch tall model with a sail. So it's just standing there going, you can't see me. I can clearly see you.
Nope.
Hold on, I'm recording this in the annals of history in a specific group chat. At 39 minutes in on June 3rd, Brad Chester says, Tantalus are fine now.
They are. They weren't before. I hated them with a passion of 1,000 suns. I also am really sorry for everyone that's has like OCD, because I've realized that I've made every single window on this screen slightly different in size.
It's fine.
I'm just
And roasting the fat guy over the fire. See how it goes.
I love everything about roasting you over the fire right now. I do love the fact that also Crawley kicked you out of the.
I don't know how that happened.
Boot. It's just like
Power moves.
Yeah.
Like,
It's because I got a tiger shark behind me. He can't handle the tiger shark. He wasn't prepared for it in list construction.
where can I find the details on the changes to ATC? That would be Mr. Crawley, because I am just the spiritual head. I am basically the Queen of England. That's as much power as I actually have.
Captain's Discord. So you'll have to reach out to your captain, and they are currently being. Hopefully that you have a captain or somebody that's present in both the 8-man and the 5-man, because there were different rulings in both classic ATC. But it is currently present on the captain's Discord that GSC sisters will be allowed, as well as we are using the new things. And they have also announced that we will be playing full painted with battle points for painted, even though there is only 7 days between when the rules come out and list lock. So that's fun.
Wow, coming to the $5 super chat.
Plenty of time.
Brad, you are by far the worst vehicle I've ever heard of. Tantalus. But you have heard of me. Fuck.
That is amazing. That is amazing.
I still lost that bet and I'm still mad about it. You should have lost more games.
All I had to do was beat Brad. If you're not first, you're last.
Do I have anything with more? That's a good question. Does Brad really play single models with more than 12 wounds though? King of
Yes, you
Trash.
play Sky Race. Sky
Yes.
Race at 14.
I have played some Sky Rays. There you go. I was just
They're
trying
also
to think.
anti-flyer.
In my
They have
orc,
an
in my orc
asterisk.
army, I have 0 things that have. It's all 10 wounds or less.
Gaz only has 10 wounds.
He has his 10 wounds.
What a chump.
I mean, he joins a squad, so it's 10 very delightful wounds.
He definitely doesn't one round a keeper or what is it? A keeper of secrets or Shalaxi? Which one was it?
Let's be
I
honest.
did 36 damage to a keeper of secrets.
Yeah, he has 11 wounds. He has Makari, which is a shadow save for a
Sure.
two-up save for 1 wound.
I mean, that is true. However, just letting you know, Makari should be modeled basically catching a grenade, because that's literally how he dies almost every game. Looks
Brad,
like the 5 dudes that are with him are
into
gone.
a battle wagon.
What's that?
You ever gonna throw Gaz in a battle wagon?
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
He can only bring 2 dudes with him if he does that. I mean, I don't
What-
hate it. But the battle wagon.
What if
so
we were
expensive
to
for me.
give you a battle wagon that had the back of it modeled like a hot tub that fits
That's
Gaz in it?
dude. I've been saying that for a while. If one, that is the only way that gas should ever take up that much space. For one. 2, yes. If someone gave me a battle wagon with hot tub gas in the back, I would play it every single time. Because that's awesome.
I actually got to listen to an argument between an orc player and a space marine player going, all right, Gazgul can get in a battle wagon. Great. But here we are with Gilliman going, I'm slightly smaller than him, but man, I can't step inside that Land Raider. That is way too hard to do.
Also, I'll see you on the other side of this wall, G-Man. You better call an Uber, because you're going to have to drive around.
Got to drive around, yeah.
Zuber, don't worry. Our man here had integrity. He didn't play Wraith Knights. He played the anti-Wraith Knight list.
That is true.
So how many ones does a Yagkarn have?
12? Is it 12?
Ha! There you go. So there's a single model with 12 wounds. Granted, she halves damage, so does she count as 12 wounds?
She counts as 12, damn it.
She counts as 36.
And I also basically played that army once and went, I feel like I got cancer from playing that. That was so unfun for anyone that wasn't at the time playing the 2 armies that you could play. Oh, that was bananas. My favorite is still at Nova. So I bring, for a change, I bring an army for someone else. I bring Eldar for Crawley at Nova. And almost every one of my games, he just shows up during my deployment, basically. It's like, how's your game going, man? I'm like, oh, not, I'm just about to start. Things get going. What are you playing? He's like, oh, I'm already done. I tabled my opponent on turn 0. He was deploying and I killed him. There's Eldar rules that just say that you can kill stuff in your opponent's case. So I shot him. They're called case missiles. Kills all your models before you're allowed to put them on the board.
Listen, that was the only time I've ever felt in my entire 40K career like how Tom Ogden feels when he goes to events.
God.
So, Crawley, you're coming up to Salt City this year?
I am seeing if I can. I do not know because I have travel. I have to go to Barcelona and Brazil by the end of the year. So depending, but hopefully.
Oh, man, I
Nice.
feel sorry for you going to my favorite city in the whole world. Oh, let me get out my violin. Oh, going to Barcelona seems terrible. Shut up.
I'll suffer through it and I'll bring an orc model and I'll send you lots of pictures so that we can put them as my background during Meta Monday. So you can see all the places that the orc model went.
You know what? As long as that orc model has an Ohio State head on it, I'll deal with it.
Oh,
Oh, no,
I was
definitely
going to put
pushing
Go
it
Blue
big
in
end.
its hand.
No.
Well, it'd be better if it had the Ohio State hat and a sign that says "Go Blue $2."
I am. Ooh, speaking of that, did I tell you what I'm doing for my Makari?
No,
So for one, after I was saying how poorly I played, I didn't have my unicorn with me, so I didn't have all my player aids and my tokens and all my other shit. You know what I mean? That I say to use all the time because I try to fit everything in one bag. It did not work. I'm never traveling like that again. I need all my old people aids. It doesn't work without it. Also, I'm getting Makari done with a banner that just straight up says lethal hits because I can't tell you how often I went, I wonder how many 6s I had. Should have probably counted those in that 12-inch fucking radius. It's a 24-inch pie plate of lethals. And I'm just like, derp to derp. Sometimes the wog is in play. Do do do. Yeah. Just Syracuse, New York, greater than Barcelona. Barcelona's gonna show up right now. And be
That
like,
hotel was pretty good that we did that event in last year. And the place that I got a haircut at was pretty fire.
jeez, have you thought about not being bad at the game? Occasionally. Jesus. I like when I just. God.
That is Brandon Valee, the #1 Tau player in the world that came second only for best in faction Tau to 2 Tiger Sharks recently.
Oh, man.
Brandon's coming in with the
Does that mean that
spice.
we have to get the Tiger Shark list versus any one of Brandon's 8,000 Tau lists and see how it goes?
Well, what I have to do is I'm going to have to send you a message with my 3-page Word document that explains how I can deploy Tiger Sharks to get approval if I can deploy Tiger Sharks in Salt City.
No one has fucking had more TOs come out with more rules than Crawley. Those guys just walk out like he literally just Jedi powered them. It's just like, Crawley said I should be able to deploy a plane on the top of a ruin and just balance it there.
That
I
never
don't
happened.
know.
Don't try to. I literally say anti that stuff. Thank you. Literally, I'm just showing people that geometry works if you have 6-inch area where you can go around the circle.
He's got his
okay? Come on
protractor out at all times.
now. God, that's what
Everyone
I use
just
that
thinks
graph
he's
paper
such a
for.
nerd. They let it happen. Yeah, whatever, nerd. Sure, deploy it.
And then I can just look at Crowley and just be the judge that I enjoy being on a rare occasion and go, nah.
Exactly.
But what you do, you don't do it until game 2 or 3 of a 6+ game tournament.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Bro, that one dude came up to me and he was like, I talked to the judge and he said you can't deploy your models. And I was like, Jorge, come here. And I was like, we already talked about this. If you want to change it now, that's completely fine. I'm just dropping. Like, I built this list. I got it approved beforehand. If you don't want me to play, just tell me you don't want me to play. And he was like, no, that's not what we meant.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I've never seen a game where it looked like something was in the wrong game system. Your 2 Tiger Sharks have 80% of their bodies hanging off the edge it looks like you're trying to play a different game system instead of 40K. It's like, what? Why are those two giant models that clearly aren't supposed to be on this table here? Like, go play the game that you're supposed to be playing. Is this an apocalypse game? What the hell are you doing? Is this
It was
Gundam?
super funny in round 4 when my opponent I played first turn, he played first turn, and then I go second. I'm doing all my stuff, and he's like, "Okay, this is winnable." And then I put the Tiger Sharks on the table. He's like, "Oh, I forgot you had those. Okay, I quit." I forgot that you had that much firepower. I don't have anything for that. I'm sorry.
I have to go home.
Well, the funny thing is we were talking about it because there was a chance that I was playing Crowley at round 6 or whatever, you know what I mean? And we were sitting
Yeah.
there, and I just paused and I go, I have no answer to those goddamn tiny sharks. I go, the only thing I can do is get in the way. I go, I will spite myself to just make sure I don't lose to the Tiger Sharks. I'll lose to the rest of your army, but not that. And the best is Crawley immediately comes back with, I will use Dark Strider and one of the small ruins to make sure I can deploy one of them. Screw you.
I did it against Pedro. It's the only reason I got him on the table.
I'm just like, of course.
There is one corner which you cannot touch. That is the dark corner.
The dark corner. No one knows what's back there. It's just Dark Strider reading a book. So just hanging out. Is there by the way, I have no idea what that dude's stats actually are. Because all he is the dude that hides and blocks out 12-inch for deep strike.
Does he have
Either
any
does
other rules
Frothy.
other than being a 12-inch anti-deep strike aura?
I don't
thought that
know.
was
But
the
I've
only
only
rule.
ever
How
used
many
it. Yeah.
moves does he have, Crawley?
3.
Okay, good.
Longfangs with Librarian, all heavy bolters, and a Terminator with missiles in the back and terrain and Gladius the shooting relic. I mean, it's legit, but they're expensive. The problem is the armor and contempt exist. If there's one thing that I'd like to see go away is the fact that like every army has some sort of armor contempt, and it makes me sad. And that coupled with the fact that if there's a leaf blowing by, you get cover. Like, hey, that tree looks like it had a little brown leaf fell in front of you. Your monolith clearly gets cover from it. You're like, all right. It's just so easy to get terrain. I mean, it's super annoying when people have to explain that. And I feel bad sometimes because you watch people play and they're like, oh, but the sword off my demon prince is behind this wall. So technically you
Man.
can't see all of the model. Let me have my cover save, yo. And you're like, you were
And
correct.
Dark Strider does have another ability.
What is it?
While he's leading a unit, each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack, add 1 to the wound roll.
Yeah, he can only attach to
Pathfinders.
what's the unit? Pathfinders, which makes it really rough because your 12-inch aura does not want to be forward-looking and
No,
marker-like
you-
things.
You want
So he
Dark
has-
Strider to
he has a
never
second
have
ability.
seen
He
the
never
light
uses
of day. That dude is in a prison underground.
Yeah. It's so sad that he's an epic character.
Oh god, no, he needs to be an epic character.
Yeah.
No. I want 3 of them.
Zoobs. He goes, Zoobs, I love this comment. He goes, I slipped it this weekend, and a guy asked me if this vehicle had cover, and he goes, how's it get cover? And I responded, because it's on the board, which is really the cover rules right now.
We were using GW4 this weekend as well, so that was and shout out to Zoobs for coming and helping me judge and saving my leg a lot of headache on a very long day at work. But yeah, with GW4, yeah, pretty much if you're moving a vehicle, it's got cover somehow.
Oh, dude, it's just any model that has a tail, a sword, a gun that's that long. It's just always, you know what I mean? It's just so crazy. All of the things, some of the stuff.
All right, well, so Danny L asked a question up there. That's a good question. And then for the last 5 minutes or so, we should discuss the ATC rulings once more.
Hold on, I'm putting in I have to shamelessly promote myself. Boom! 40K Lorecast. Here's the Discord link. If you want your list looked at, because I'm going to do some more fix my lists, go into the DOG chat under Brad, fix my fucking list and drop your list in there. Also, if you're going to put a list in there for me to take a look at, please give me just a blurb about what things you are 100% have to stay on the list, and or like a little bit of how you want to play that list. So if we make any changes, we don't change the flavor of the list.
Like keep the Tiger Sharks in.
Keep the Tiger Sharks in. Tiger Shark meta for life.
I need to drop this next week. Did you want to talk
ATC
about
stuff? Is in the judges chats for ATC. Go check there. Have your captain for your teams go check their Discord.
How do we feel about GSC and Sisters and using the new card set a week before list lock? Do you think that they need to move list lock, or do you think they need to relax
perfectly
painting
fine.
requirements, or we're going balls deep?
Embrace the chaos, man.
Embrace the chaos.
Well, here's the thing. We'll look at the the other big tournament organizing thing outside of away games, because I think they're probably bigger now with the amount they're doing. But FLG's events are always 1 week. They've been 1 week for a long time now.
Yeah, they've just been accepting everything.
I will remind you that they delayed the guard codex by over a month and screwed over guard players a year ago or
They
2
did
years
do
ago.
that. They do that at one point, but for since that, they've been 1 week.
Which is crazy for the TOs and the judges, but I do like it as a player. I mean, you go back, there is pros and cons though. Like Kyle was saying earlier, it is a pain in the ass, especially for people that are slow to model or take a lot of time and effort in their paint jobs. It's hard to shift when you get new points at a week or two away from a tournament. You know what I mean? You just don't have enough time to make that happen. So you play not exactly what you want.
I would agree with that. I think the only thing, I think you should relax painting requirements when you're doing that, because if everybody's list is going to be dramatically shifted, and it creates a chaos in, you only have a week to figure out what your list is going to be, and that can be a significant paint differential, and good painters, that will put them under significant stress, right? Like the people that don't care aren't going to care, and they're going to slap 3 contrast colors and null oil on it and call it good, and it's not going to affect them at all, right? It just does affect a lot of the more hobby-centric players to be able to create a list for their team event that's then going to get messed. Especially with the fact that this is supposed to switch us diametrically like the 8OS ones do, where now we're supposed to switch to more battle line being a focus, and currently battle line's not a focus for, I would say, 60 to 70% of the
I think that's probably low, man.
I would rather be low on that number than be too high.
I mean, until we got basically Green Tide and you're seeing more and more of Tiernan starting to do a little bit well with Unending, well now Invasion over the weekend, but you weren't seeing any battle line at all. I mean, who even brings battle line?
Sisters brings
Sisters brought a unit.
GSC.
Yeah,
brings
GSC.
some.
GSC.
Yeah, I mean, I'm struggling to think of more that are
I mean,
consistently.
Death Guard
bringing
has
battle line.
one battle line unit in their entire codex index.
Yeah, but they bring 3 of it.
That's
they're in
true.
a
But
good
the
spot.
DG, that's yeah. There's some that have a decent amount.
Whatever army gets to bring demons for their team gets Nurglings, and those are battle line.
those just don't count as battle line.
God, Death Guard gets so much benefit from this. Wait, you're telling me that my scoring trash is also battle line that I just took anyway?
Ooh,
Nice.
customs. GK strike scouts are good.
They're okay, but you're mostly playing a lot of Terminators and baby carriers, right?
Tau is starting to bring battle line.
Yeah,
Oh,
true.
Breachers
Just
are battle
breachers.
line, right? Breachers are
Breachers.
battle
Breacher
line.
spam. Breacher spam.
So
Drukari.
Yep.
Well,
it's just battle line.
I love that. All of the things, some of the stuff. Tell me about Salt City GT.
Salt City GT, the saltcitygt.com, 3-day 40K event Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Also Age of Sigmar 4.0, Old World, which we just finished the player pack for, Marvel Crisis Protocol, and possibly something else that's about to pop in. So I found I had a little more room than I thought I did. So
Noise. On that note, everyone, as always, like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Queens wave us out of here, gents. Stay milky, my friends.
Amen.